Well, Sean, I'm glad to see you there with some real product there. I'm so sorry that I can't be with you there, but let me just lean over a little bit and, sort of, where are we?
Oh, yeah,
Okay, yeah.
wonderful.
So I've got a couple of bottles here. We'll be doing a little bit tasting in the next vignette, which if anybody's ever had a virtual tasting, we're going to have a virtual tasting. So tell me, what products do you have in Never Never Gin?
So when we started off in 2000 and we produced our very first bottle of gin in August of 2017, and that product was Triple Juniper Gin. So this is the gin that we pretty much used as the foundation stone. The Triple Juniper is in all of the products that we make. So the base product is a spirit that uses 9 key botanicals, and all of those flavors have been used in ultra concentrated format. So that's what we create on our still out the back Wendy. So when it comes to the reason why we call it Triple Juniper Gin, it's because of that triple juniper process, that process of steeping the juniper berries, pot distilling the juniper berries, and then also vapor distilling them to create that flavor and create that intensity.
But you start off with the spirit. Do you produce the spirit, or what's it produced from? Is it wheat or barley, or what's it come from?
So we purchased the wheat spirit that we use to create the gins from Manildra. Manildra is an incredible producer here in Australia, very high quality producer, and supplies almost 80% of the gin industry here in Australia. So we really hope that Manildra continues to operate and doesn't cease operation, because it would be a very sad day for the gin distilleries here in Australia. But it's a very high quality using wheat as its base.
Yeah, so we've got Triple Juniper, and then what other products? You've got 3 main products, yeah?
That's correct. So we've got Triple Juniper Gin, our Southern Strength Gin, and also our Juniper Freak. So I've just talked a little bit about the Triple Juniper. The Southern Strength was a product that we released earlier, basically towards the end of 2017. It was a collaboration with a variety of different bartenders to create a product that I guess slightly higher in ABV. It uses exactly the same ingredients as we have in the Triple Juniper, but at a different ratio.
So hang on, you said slightly higher in ABV?
ABV, alcohol by volume, yeah. So it's at 52%, and this one's at 43.
Okay.
So that's why we call it the Southern Strength.
Yeah.
So it is a little higher in alcohol. But what that does is, because it's higher in alcohol, it actually carries flavor. Because there's actually more gin in the bottle, so to speak. It has a really concentrated character. So much so that in 2019, the Southern Strength Gin was awarded World's Best Classic Gin at the World Gin Awards in London. It was a huge moment for us as a small brand, considering we're up against behemoths like Tanqueray No. 10. It was an incredible moment for us, and that really shifted the dial as a small business. The next day, we hired our first employee just to answer the phone, because we were getting so many calls, which was a really, really special moment as a brand.
That's amazing.
And it was all off the back of Southern Strength.
Southern Strength. So what's the third one then?
So the third one is Juniper Freak. This is Australia's only vintage gin. It's a Navy Strength gin.
Yeah.
Navy Strength is actually a very traditional style of gin that has to sit above 57% ABV. So ours is at 58% ABV. It's the only representation of a vintage gin in Australia. There's a couple globally. What that means is it only uses the most recent vintage of juniper that we harvest from the Republic of North Macedonia. So that is where we get all of our juniper. It is a super concentrated style. So not only are we going through that same triple juniper process of steeping, pot distilling, and vapor distilling, we're also adding a pure distillation of juniper into that product to create that intensity and to create that flavor.
Wow. So how do you actually, there are some very big companies in the gin business, aren't there? So how do you make sure barmen are using your gin and that the bottle shops are selling your gin and so on? How do you compete with these guys?
Okay, it's an interesting question, and it's something that we get quite regularly. It's sort of like, well, you make a classic style of gin. How are you different to, say, cheaper gins on the market? And the question really comes down to our small batch process. When we make gin on a still this size, what you end up doing is you create an ultra concentration of flavor. And it's that flavor that really separates us from a lot of other gins on the market. And by creating that concentration and creating that accessibility of flavor, you become a product that not only makes incredible versions of gin and tonics, but really, really works quite well, across a range of different, martinis and Negronis, all those sorts of styles. So that triple dripper process, while I've got you out here, starts basically in these tins. So this is where we do a lot of our steeping. So that steeps overnight. We then add it to our pot still. And you can see it's bubbling away in here as we speak. So that concentrates it further. And then here in the vapor basket, this is that third interaction of that flavor. So the whole way through, we're all about creating that concentration, creating that intensity. And that's what really separates us from other gins.
Wow. Well, I'm salivating already, okay? Because the next vignette is actually to taste some of the gin. And you're going to be doing a tasting over there in McLaren Vale, and I'm going to be doing a tasting at my desk here. And you can take me through it in our next vignette. Sean, thank you. Speak with you soon.
Pleasure.